The closure of Huachipato, problems, causes, and geopolitical consequences. The closure of Huachipato, one of Chile's leading steel industries, poses significant economic, social, and geopolitical challenges. This analysis explores the problems associated with the shutdown, its underlying causes, and the implications of losing national control over a strategic material like steel, while also considering the impact of its current ownership. 1. Issues linked to the closure of Huachipato. The primary issue stemming from Huachipato's closure is the economic and social impact on the Biobío region, where the plant has historically been a driver of employment and development. Thousands of workers, both directly and indirectly connected to the plant, face unemployment, exacerbating poverty and inequality in a region already affected by deindustrialization. On a strategic level, losing Huachipato increases Chile's dependence on steel imports, a critical material for construction, mining, and infrastructure. The lack of control over domestic steel production limits the country's economic autonomy and exposes it to market fluctuations and international tensions. 2. Who owned Huachipato? Currently, Huachipato operates as a subsidiary of CAP Acero, part of CAP SA, one of Chile's largest mining and steel companies. Over the years, CAP has faced financial difficulties and sought foreign investments to stay afloat. Prominent among these investors are Peruvian companies and investment funds, sparking controversy over foreign control in such a strategic sector. Peruvian groups have indeed acquired a stake in CAP, raising concerns about economic sovereignty in a key industry for national development. While foreign investment can provide much-needed capital and modernization, reliance on external ownership may reduce the country's ability to make strategic decisions during crises. 3. The severity of losing control over steel. Steel is a vital material for national development. It is essential for building housing, bridges, roads, and machinery, and is indispensable for sectors such as defense, energy, and technology. Losing control over its production places Chile in a position of high strategic vulnerability, with significant consequences. Foreign dependence. Chile will now have to import all its steel, making it susceptible to price fluctuations in international markets, and the policies of major producers like China, the United States, or Brazil. In times of geopolitical conflict or trade disruptions, this dependence could jeopardize infrastructure projects and economic stability. Loss of economic sovereignty. Controlling the production of strategic materials like steel is crucial to ensuring the country's autonomy. Deindustrialization not only affects the economy, but also hinders the government's long-term planning, especially in critical sectors such as national defense and energy transition. National security risks. In extreme scenarios of international tensions, the lack of domestic steel production could limit Chile's ability to respond to emergencies or maintain critical infrastructure, creating internal vulnerabilities that external actors might exploit. 4. Causes of Huachipato's closure. Several interrelated factors contributed to Huachipato's closure. Unfair international competition. The influx of imported steel, primarily from China, at subsidized prices, weakened Huachipato's ability to compete locally. Aggressive trade policies from exporting countries have led to a global steel oversupply, reducing profit margins for domestic producers. High production costs. Huachipato has faced historically high energy and logistics costs, making it difficult to compete with international producers with economies of scale and fewer operational constraints. Lack of state support. Unlike other countries that have implemented protective measures for their strategic industries, Chile's commitment to free trade has left Huachipato vulnerable to global market forces. Technological obsolescence. The plant failed to modernize at the necessary pace to increase productivity and reduce operational costs, reflecting insufficient investment in innovation and technology by both the parent company and the government. 5. Geopolitical consequences. Huachipato's closure has geopolitical implications that extend beyond Chile's borders. Increased import dependence. The disappearance of Huachipato as a domestic steel supplier heightens Chile's reliance on foreign markets, particularly China. This dependence reduces the country's strategic autonomy and exposes it to global price fluctuations and geopolitical tensions. Economic security impacts. The loss of industrial capacity weakens the country's resilience in the face of international crises. For instance, in a scenario of trade conflicts or supply chain disruptions, Chile would struggle to secure the steel needed for critical infrastructure projects. Regional deindustrialization. Trend: Huachipato's case could set a worrying precedent for other manufacturing industries in Chile and Latin America, reinforcing the region's reliance on raw material exports and industrial goods imports. Increased internal tensions. Domestically, the closure of Huachipato could exacerbate social discontent in the Biobío region, where the loss of jobs and economic opportunities may fuel protests and calls for greater state intervention. 6. Reflection and possible solutions. The closure of Huachipato symbolizes not just the decline of a major Chilean industry, but also the lack of an economic policy that prioritizes autonomy and long-term sustainability. Rethinking the development model is essential to prevent the country from becoming entirely dependent on international markets. Possible solutions include: 1. Active industrial policies. Encourage technological modernization of domestic industries and protect strategic sectors with fiscal incentives and tariffs on subsidized imports. 2. Regional economic diversification. Create new employment and investment opportunities in the Biobío region to mitigate the social impact of the closure. 3. Foreign ownership review. Evaluate and regulate foreign capital participation in strategic sectors to ensure national interests prevail. 4. Strategic alliances promotion. Develop international agreements to ensure Chile retains access to steel under more balanced conditions. Conclusion: the closure of Huachipato exposes weaknesses in Chile's economic model and the lack of protection for key industries. Losing control over a strategic material like steel has profound economic and geopolitical implications, affecting both the country's sovereignty and its capacity for independent development. Chile must learn from this case and establish policies that prioritize strategic autonomy and social welfare, ensuring a sustainable and resilient future for its industry and citizens.